Hey, welcome everybody. You're tuning in to howtoplaystock.com. My name's Kepley. Today is March 3rd, 2017. In today's video, I'm going to go ahead and give you a recap on the events that took place this week on the stock market, and kind of give you some of the fundamentals of the events that are happening right now and are going to happen here March 14th and the 15th, which I think are going to be really important events that take place that could change the trajectory of where the stock market's going heading into the summer, and why you want to be on the opposite side of this transaction, okay? Because what's taking place right now is really serious. It's going to have serious repercussions, and I'm also going to cover the event that took place yesterday with silver, okay? And I'm going to explain just how banks manipulate silver on the paper markets, okay? Because that was one of the events that took place over this last week, and it was epic what happened. And a lot of people don't really understand what's taking place when you see the price of silver drop. So I'm going to explain that as well, and I'm going to go ahead and connect the dots for you and show you the correlation between all this stuff and why you want to be on the opposite side of the transaction. So stay tuned, keep watching, and I'll see you in the next portion of the video. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start off at the beginning of the week. What happened on February 28th? Well, that was Tuesday. Donald Trump gave a monumental speech around nationalism and rebuilding the country, all right? I think this is a great idea, what he presented to Congress as far as bringing the money back offshores, back into the country to rebuild the economy, and uplift a lot of these regulations on the coal miners, and just start rebuilding America along with the military. All that sounds really great. But again, guys, it's just talk. It is just talk. Now, you got to remember, he's a politician now. All right? He's still a businessman, but he's a politician too. So I don't know if he's going to be able to push through a lot of what he wants to do. And yeah, you also have to keep in mind that a lot of what he's talking about has to do with silver. Now, why do I bring up silver? Because silver is in everything, guys. I mean, it's in silverware, it's in car batteries, it's in cell phones, computers, the list goes on. I mean, it's practically in everything that we use. So what is this going to do for the demand of silver? It's going to increase significantly. All right, now I'm going to shift gears from that speech in Congress that he gave, and I'm going to fast forward to Thursday, which was yesterday. Now, if you're not aware, what happened yesterday was freaking monumental. I mean, it was epic when it comes to the amount of money that was dumped back out on the market through the form of short sellers on silver. We're talking $2 billion was dumped back out onto the market to bring the price of silver down. Okay, now I'm going to explain to you why this is so important and why so many people, I don't think, understand what's going on here when they see the price of silver drop. All right, I've read a lot of articles from other people that are posting blogs on the stock ticker symbol SLV, and just some of the things that I'm seeing from other people who are posting comments and stuff like that. A lot of these people don't understand what is going on, okay? And it's completely understandable, because I've got skin in the game on silver, and I want to. The reason why I'm touching on silver is because I'm going to show you the correlation between what happened on Tuesday with Trump's speech. All right, you already know what that has to do with silver. I just told you, and I'm gonna connect the dots between that, what happened yesterday, and what's coming on March 14th and 15th. Okay, so with silver, here's how the banks work when it comes to silver. I've already touched on supply and demand with you guys. If you're new to this channel and you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I've got videos on supply and demand of silver. But just to let you know, there's not as much silver out there above ground as people think. Okay, and I'm not going to get into too much detail about the supply, but I can tell you right now, we're getting ready to go into a shortage. Okay, we had the president of the U.S. Mint come out just last week, and he basically told people that we are getting ready to go into a silver shortage. Okay, now the president of the U.S. Mint is the man who is in charge of making the silver eagles that are distributed to the dealers, so that the dealers can give those to people who are buying physical silver. Okay, now I'm going to tell you there's a reason why we're having so much shortage. And yes, a lot of it has to do with the industrial usage that I just talked about, but the other portion of it is what I'm getting ready to show you here, and what happened yesterday with the short sellers. So anytime you hear people talk about short sellers on silver with the paper contracts, okay, we're talking just paper here, this is what they're doing, and I'm going to explain it to you. So basically you got a pool of banks, right? So you may have like, we know one of them's JP Morgan, you know, and you've got others in there like Deutsche Bank, you got Goldman Sachs, you got these big banks out there, and they're all in this little pool over here. I'll just label it as banks. Now, what ends up happening is the price of silver, the paper price, will start going up. Okay, and a lot of this is due to demand on the physical price of silver. Okay, there are two different things. You got paper and then you got physical. So the demand on the physical side starts going up. It drives the paper price up as well. Now, JP Morgan and the banks, they've got an agenda, okay, and it revolves around the US dollar. When you've got a US dollar that's strong, they don't want people getting away from that, okay, because it basically entices other foreign investors into the markets on the US dollar. So it's good for the dollar. They don't want people knowing that silver and gold are real money. And if you don't believe me on that, just subscribe to the channel. You can go in and watch a couple of my videos. As a matter of fact, I'll leave the links in the description below for those videos as well. But you can subscribe to the channel. They're all in there. You can watch them. And I talk about how gold is real money and silver. So the price of silver on the physical markets goes up, and it drives the paper price up as well. The banks don't want you knowing that that is real money. They want you away from it. So what do? They suppress the price. How do they do that? What they do is something called options. Okay, and an option allows you to make a call, which is basically just a bet, and the bet is on a call that the price is going to go up. Or they can make a bet called a put, and that's basically just saying, okay, I'm going to bet that the price is going down. So what they do is they put options, they go into options and they make put calls, or puts, not put calls, it's just puts. So they make puts on options saying that the price of silver, and we're dealing with the price of silver in the future. It hasn't happened yet, but they're basically saying, okay, 4 months from now or 5 months from now, the price of silver is going to hit a certain price. And they have an expiration date attached to these as well. So what happens in the options, if you don't know what options are, you know, they make the put or the call. There's an expiration date. They have a strike price, which would be a target price that they think that the stock is going to hit. If it does not hit that, then they have to basically buy up a certain amount of shares according to the contract on the option that they placed, or the bet. So if they lose, they have to buy the stock that they were betting on. If they win, they get massive profits, and it's magnified using leverage or borrowed money. Okay, this is how the bankers make money. A lot of them don't go in and they don't invest in individual stocks. They play the options. So with silver's case, they do the puts. And when they release these puts or these short sells on the market like that, it drives the price down. So the price starts going down like this, I mean massively. Like yesterday, we took almost a 5% hit on silver in one day. Okay, that's only happened a couple times in the history of the stock market. So what happened yesterday was epic, and a lot of people have no clue what just happened yesterday. But what they do when they drive the price on the paper markets down is, so you got your physical over here, you got your paper markets right here. So the price might be high at the moment, right? What the banks will do, they drive the paper price down, and because it's attached or tracks the volume on physical, when it comes down, a lot of times it'll follow silver, like the physical price. But we're playing with futures markets here, so they're saying that the future price of silver is going to be down here when they dump all those puts. Well, what it does is it drops the physical price of silver as well, so the physical price starts dropping too. What this does, though, is it presents buying opportunities for the true investors of silver. So the banks will make their profits because they hit their target price. They take all their profits off the table, and then they move it over here to the physical side of silver, and they buy up everything they can in the physical silver markets. What they don't understand about what they're doing, though, is, again, it goes back to supply and demand, and they don't understand that they're creating shortages of silver because there's only so much silver above ground, like I was telling you about. And you've got an industrial usage for it as well, that Trump is talking about increasing, throughout his administration with rebuilding the military and all that. So that's where you can connect the dots between what happened yesterday and what took place on Tuesday with Donald Trump's speech to Congress. Because what they're doing right now is they just dropped the price. They're going in, they're buying up all the physical silver that they can because they know it's true money. And they don't want you knowing about it, so they have to keep the markets propped up. Okay, in the meantime, you might notice that the Dow Jones right now is at all-time highs. We're at like 21,000 points. Okay, so there's reason for all this. Now, what's taking place on what's taking place on March 14th? If you don't know, March 14th through the 15th, I'm going to write the date down here for you. Two major moves are taking place in the economy with monetary policy, along with just, basic fundamentals of the economy. Okay? The first event, Janet Yellen is more than likely going to raise interest rates. Okay, there's about an 80% probability that that's going to happen. The market's already priced it in for a rate hike from Janet Yellen, so we can expect that. Okay. The other thing that we can expect is Donald Trump. I don't know if you knew this, but back in 2010, Obama had us on a debt ceiling. Okay, you remember the government shutdown that almost took place? Well, in order for them to avoid killing each other, basically over the fiscal policy there in Washington, they had to do away with the debt ceiling. All right, and that was Boehner and Obama that decided to do that. Now, since then, what has that done? Basically, it's been the equivalent of, like, let's say I was the U.S. Treasury and you were the government. Basically, it's the equivalent of the Treasury just handing over a free credit card, or me handing a free credit card over to you and saying, here, you got unlimited amount of spending power now, spend away. There's no amount that you cannot spend, okay? And there's no limit on it. So don't worry about it. Just spend away. That's essentially what happened when we took the debt cap limit off. Now, what's happening on March 14th through the 15th is Donald Trump wants to put that back on. Okay, and I believe it's passed through Congress already and been approved. When that happens, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe that is going to take place. It's already been talked about. If that happens, though, what you can expect, and this is information I got from David Stockman. David Stockman was Reagan's budget advisor. okay, when he served as president, he came forward just in the last week and said that the budget will only allow for about $75 billion a month to be spent after that cap limit goes back on the debt ceiling. We're going to be out of cash by June, according to David Stockman. Now, what does that tell me? That means the government will shut down. Okay, if they were out of cash and they can't pay their debts, they're going to have to default. Now, connect the dots again between that, an interest rate hike, which means that prices are going to go up, and then what took place with the speech from Trump, along with the short selling that just took place yesterday on the markets with silver. And what do you have? What you have is an economic crisis going into the summer with a massive shortage of silver, okay, because the banks are buying it all up. And with a massive shortage of silver and the markets waking up to what's happening come June, when they realize that the government's out of cash, this whole thing, guys, is going to come crashing down. They're talking about right now, and when I say they, I'm talking about all the analysts, the psychoanalysts, and financial experts and budget advisors who've served other presidents. They're all saying that this thing is going to correct at minimum. We're looking at like 30%. Okay, now when this comes down, I'm going to show you real quick. When this comes down and it starts correcting in the summertime, okay, the market starts doing that and we get like a 30% correction, people are going to panic. So you're going to get a 30% drop. The people that are invested in the stock market are going to panic and they're going to sell. They're going to jump out, you know? They want out. Where are they going to go though? They're going to go over here to safe haven assets. Like gold and silver. Now, unfortunately, with the shortage that I'm talking about here, there's not going to be any silver there. The banks have already taken it all. So what are they going to do if they don't have any silver physically available? They're going to have to go to the paper markets. Okay, and if they go to the paper markets, and the banks have already suppressed the price, that's fine, because it's just going to drive the paper price back up. And with a shortage and no silver being available, and this has happened a few times in history, guys. All you have to do is go back and do a little bit of research on it. But when people can't get their silver in times of an economic crisis because there's a shortage, because the banks have already bought it all and gobbled it up, people are going to go into the paper markets because that's the only other alternative. That's going to drive the paper price of silver up as well. Now, how much? Nobody really knows, but I can tell you right now, I mean, could it drive it up 50 bucks? Easy. Very easily. And the reason why is because this is not just taking place. Once this starts unfolding and the markets wake up to this type of thing, it's not just taking place here in the U.S. Okay? All markets are intertwined globally. So this is going to be on a global scale. You're going to have people from all over the world who are going to be looking for silver, don't have silver, and they're going to have to go into the paper markets. Not to mention, a lot of your big banks, okay, that are buying up all this silver right now, they're going to realize this too in times of the crisis. They're going to want more. So they're going to go in and try to buy up more physical silver too, and they're going to realize, oh gee, we just bought up everything. We still want more though. Well, let's go into the paper markets. Okay, so you get the picture. You see what's going to start happening here soon. And, you know, I can't put a date on when this is all going to happen. All I can do is connect the dots for you like I am and paint a bigger picture of what's taking place here, okay? Because what's taking place is huge. It's epic. It's a certainty. It's math. All you have to do is do the math. And you can see what's going to happen. Now, what do? All you have to do is be prepared. Start getting into some of this stuff. Like I said, I've got skin in the game right now. I've got money on paper contracts. I've got paper silver. I've got the physical silver as well. Okay, and I'm also in some silver mining stocks. Now, those are taking a hit right now because it's being suppressed. It's being manipulated. I'm not panicking though. A lot of people are. And they're selling, and all they're doing is giving in to the game that the banks are playing against them. All right? You do not want to do that. Just stay in. Stay in and keep a cool head and realize what I'm telling you is actually playing out in live action. I mean, all you have to do is just keep your cool and understand supply and demand and the shortages of silver that are taking place right now, and only realize it's going to get worse as this crisis unfolds. And when that unfolds, you know, and people are all looking for silver at the same time, including the big banks who've hoarded up most of it, you're looking at a situation where, unfortunately, a lot of people are not going to have silver. If you're holding silver and you're on the opposite side of this transaction, like I'm talking about, you're going to prosper beyond your wildest dreams. Okay? That's all I have for today's video. You're tuning in to howtoplaystock.com. These are today's investors' investing tips. Hope you like the information. If you do, go ahead and like and share this with other people. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And remember, guys, be patient, okay? Because this stuff takes time. It's playing out right now, but we're probably not going to see the actual repercussions of what took place over this last week until, like, you know, June, July time frame is my guess. It might be a little bit later than that. But you have to be patient, okay? And remember, the ultimate goal here is income is the outcome. I'll talk to you later, guys.